fortunately. I think we're going now, they said, and we do have a quorum. And welcome to November Resident Council meeting. We start with approval of the minutes from the October minutes. Do I have a motion for approval? Wake up. Are you moving that, Kathleen? Thank you. Do I have a second? I have a motion that we accept the minutes as written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Is Katie not going to be here? I thought Katie, our treasurer, was going to be here. I understand that the trams are running slowly today because they're very busy. I think I can do that. As it says on the screen that we had no checks written, and that's because she got the statement and the check for the appreciation fund had not come through. We, as you all know, or if you were here last time, we gave $800 to the Employee Appreciation Fund. And that doesn't appear here, but it will at the final statement in December. So our balance is still the same. Our administrators don't believe we start on time. And so we will move ahead and we'll take them when they get here. He was here at 9? Oh, well, he'll be back. We'll start then with our nominating committee. It's not in alphabetical order, but Shirley Abbott is the chairman of that. She is our immediate past president, and the immediate past president is chairman of the nominating committee. Shirley?
Thank you. Good morning. I hope you all had a beautiful...
If you pull it down, there you go.
I hope you all had a beautiful day like I did, and the food was outstanding. If you weren't here, you missed a... Closer? Okay.
There you go.
All right. I, first of all, would like to thank my committee, Katie Boxley, Jean Edwards, Doris Gazda, Ed Kearns, and Ken Moore. And we all didn't get a chance to work, but they volunteered to be on this committee, and that is what is so important. Thank you so much, committee. All right. For the vice president, slate for the vice president is Ralph McMillan. And I know Ralph is here. Would you please stand so people know who you are? Thank you so very much. And we needed a treasurer, and it's Bev Rogers. And I have not seen Bev.
No,
She's over up here.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much. And those are the two that we had to select, and those are the two that were, and I thank you so much for volunteering and saying yes.
Well, and Katie, I'm sorry, Sandy had volunteered to be secretary again.
Yes.
And for anyone who is new, I don't know if there's anyone new here, our vice president becomes the president, so she is automatically on the slate, or he is automatically on the slate.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, like that.
Yeah,
All
wanted
right.
you to be
I
sure we
forgot
all are
to
clear
write
on
their
that.
name.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Shirley. Anything else you want to add?
No,
Okay,
this
thank
is
you.
a neat day.
Thank you. So Grace Romack is always first alphabetically, so here she comes for our activities report.
November was a busy month. We not only had our Tuesday and Friday events, but also a Saturday and Sunday event. The last pancake breakfast for 2019 is December 3rd from 8 to 8:45 in the rec center. Check distribution event will be in Skirm at 2 p.m. on Friday, December 6th. Tuesday, December 10th at 2 p.m. will be the golf cart and bike decoration parade extravaganza. There will be entry forms, and the healthcare center will be included in the parade route. December 13th from 11 to 5:30 p.m. and Saturday, December 14th from 9 to 3 is the Arts and Craft Fair in Skirm. Tuesday, December 17th from 10 to noon, there will be a cookie exchange in the private dining room. There will be a sign-up sheet. You will bring 4 dozen cookies, homemade cookies, no bought cookies, homemade cookies. 3 dozen for exchange and 1 dozen for tasting. And this event is for participants only. You have to bake in order to come. Tuesday, December 31st is the New Year's Eve party in Skirm from 8 to 10-ish. And the theme is Roaring Twenties. Sign up will be Thursday, December 19th from 9 to 11 in the lobby. And there will be 2 guests per household. No bingo on December 14th. Beside the December entertainment in Skirm on December 7th, 9th, and 14th, there will be entertainment in the lobby. Charla Hampton, Director of Human Resources, will be featured on the December 6th podcast. Skirm will be getting an AV upgrade, just the core equipment. And I have no idea what it is, and that's okay too. Villager on December 20th will be a supersize edition. Next edition after that will be January 20th. Connie is going to be on vacation January 2nd and 3rd and back on the 6th. And please read your Villager for more details. End of report.
It's too bad we're not busy around here. And that only touches on the things that the Activities Committee works on. There are lots of other things going on too. Thank you, Grace. Are there any questions from the Council of Grace?
I have one.
Okay,
I
Paul.
want to make sure about the pancake breakfast. Did you say Monday?
No, Tuesday,
Okay.
December 3rd.
Okay. Are there any questions from our audience? Thank you, Grace. And Cole has arrived, so we will take Cole next. I understand you got here early.
I got here at 9, and then I came 7 minutes late. So, well, happy day after Thanksgiving. How many people had lunch or dinner here at the village? Good stuff? All right. I've seen a couple positive comments come through, but wanted to check and see. I know Chef Travis and his team were excited about the opportunity and was looking to knock the socks off, so hopefully they delivered. First, sales activity for the month of November thus far. We have had 4 sales, of which 2 are the new apartments that are looking to be built, the 40. 3 were existing. Of those 3 existing, 5 sales total, because it wouldn't add up. So 2 new ones, 3 existing, of which 2 were apartments and 1 was a cottage. So that is the sales activity. We had 3 move-ins, and all 3 of those were cottages for the month of November. On December 5th at 8 a.m. here in Skirm Auditorium, we are holding a construction kickoff event with the Ryan Companies, the group that we have partnered with on the development and design of the building. Going to have the 40 people that have purchased apartments for that project, as well as some local Tempe dignitaries here to officially kick off the construction. Should be exciting. That's from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. On December 6th, in this auditorium, we have our Employee Appreciation Fund, and that is at 2 p.m. And kudos to the folks that helped raise more than $400,000. That is absolutely unbelievable. So thank you and congratulations. That's unbelievably successful. We are, back by popular demand, going to conduct our second annual golf cart parade, where residents and employees decorate their golf carts in a holiday spirit and travel in and around the village. Last year, we weren't prepared for it to be as successful as it was, and we figured we better do it again. So that is what we'll be doing on December 10th at 2 p.m. I was just looking at the Villager, and I'm happy to see that the procedures that we have put in place for people to use or take advantage of the barbecue grilling area that was finished up a few months ago. We put a plan together so that we could help set that up for success. So residents, if they wanted to have a little party over there for their families or themselves or whoever, whatever, there are procedures that are in the Villager that you can follow, which would involve us lighting the grill and or fire pit for you. And that way we are able to make sure that we put it out when you're finished, so, which is important. And I don't have a date or time just yet, but I do want you to know we are moving our ISP, Internet Service Provider, to Cox and CenturyLink. We have a line through both so that we are able to, if one goes down, we can switch over to the other. But we are making a change to move to those two. And there will be about most likely 30 minutes at some point next week, which will be well communicated once we have the date and time. But there will be 30 minutes where the village is absolutely down. There will be no internet and there will be no telephones for about 30 minutes for them to switch it over. So there's no other way to get around it. And like I said, we will promote the heck out of it so that you know when that date and time is, so that everybody is aware that it was something we expected versus something that just happened. So, and that was all I had for my report today.
Are there any questions from the council members? From our residents, we have one.
Cole, in changing the ISP, does that only affect the administration, or does it also affect the village Wi-Fi?
It would affect village Wi-Fi because that it's separated out on our end. We separate it out between the village network and the admin network, but it all is running off of the same line. So when that 30 minutes goes down, every single person on this campus will be without phones and internet.
But beyond that, those on village Wi-Fi will not notice any difference.
Correct.
There still is a Cox Wi-Fi and a village Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And even though it's
Yep.
eventually maybe going through Cox, we won't know the difference.
Correct. That should not affect you at all.
We have another question in the back.
Did you say that you're going from Cox to CenturyLink, or how?
So, if I understand things correctly, we have always had Cox as a backup line, and then we had another group called TrueCom. And TrueCom has been giving us some problems, so we have decided to, I believe, have Cox become our primary. They've got some pretty robust services that actually you will possibly see a change in terms of improved speeds. And then bringing CenturyLink on kind of as the backup. So CenturyLink would be the new piece.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I had a question too.
We have another question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed my turn to start with.
I'm sorry, I didn't see.
This construction meeting, is that open to the residents?
It is not. We weren't sure as far as number of people that we would be able to accommodate and had to make the decision that we would not. And I do believe our plan is to broadcast it from Skirm Auditorium over the in-house television channel.
We have another one.
Cole, I was wondering about golf cart parking spaces along with the other car parking spaces. There aren't very many, and we already double and triple stack the golf carts when we park over by the health center or the activity center. And cars are parking in there. Do you have any plans for clearly marking them to keep the cars out?
Well, I know I saw the paint team out restriping and repainting a lot of things that are on the road that fade over time. So my guess is we need to add that to their list to paint, and it should be obvious. I mean, the lines, there's no way you can fit a car in a golf cart parking spot. So people that are doing that, what we need to do is either one, if you see that and you report it to us, and then we would notify security to come out, find out who parked there, track them down and have them move their car if they're parked in golf cart parking. But I'm sure those the lines that define car parking versus golf cart parking probably have faded and need to be repainted.
Right, I notice it mainly during valet events, where the valets will park cars there, or people will double park, across two parking spaces.
Okay, then that's good to know. We will make sure that the valet people know that's not the spot to park a car.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions of Cole? Thank you, Cole.
All right,
We'll
thank
see you
you.
next month.
Thank you.
And up next is Kathy Crawford with the Appearance, Building, Grounds, and Pools Facility Committee. Long name.
Weeds and seeds. Okay, we met on November 13th. Many of the things we discussed, somebody's already talked about or you've seen in your villager. So I'm not going to repeat all of that. We talked about holiday lights, the winter grass being, and the curbing that's being added by the canal. One of the things that we did hear about was that there are no plants that have been removed for the new fencing along the canal. But once that fencing is done, there will be a reevaluation of the plants to see if something needs to be done. Matt was with us, and again, we talked about parking restrictions, and we've all gotten memos about that. Today's the first day that staff are parking over at Resurrection, and there is going to be a shuttle that will pick up staff and bring them back and forth that runs in the morning as well as later afternoon and evening. We all got memos about the main gate being closed, hopefully for no more than 21 days and less time if possible. So during that time, entrance and exit will be the Evergreen exit and no gate. We had a request about trash cans over by the dog park grill area, and Matt's taking care of that and is also looking into bins for recyclables over there. And all the other things with how you sign up are for the grill area. We've gone through that. In the area of old business, somebody asked on the committee if the village got a discount for water when we refilled the swimming pool, and no, we don't get a discount. And other questions under new business that came from committee members included, could the pool level be a little bit lower for short people? That was one request. Yeah. Somebody requested that the sidewalks between the fitness center and the main center and the patio area be washed because they had spills on them, but I think the rain is probably taking care of that for us. Somebody requested of the arts group that they decoratively paint a utility box in one of the courtyards for the courtyard apartments. However, another resident said, I don't want those painted. And so the question became, could you put plants around it to kind of hide it, if you will? But we found out, no, you can't do that because water and electricity aren't going to mix too well. And so they didn't really want to water plants around an electrical utility box. So that committee member is going to go back to our art group, and we're going to let them decide what to do. And that is pretty much all I have. Any
Well, thank you.
questions?
Thank you, Kathy. We have a question, Bob.
During the 21 days that we're
Yes.
using just,
Evergreen?
I always call it Nevergreen because the light never turns, that we're using Evergreen, will there be a temporary guard shack put out there to let in visitors?
Matt,
There will be, yeah, security will be posted there. Once likely scenarios, they'll just be in their van. Yeah, security will be posted there. The most likely scenarios will be in their van. They'll be waiting there by the gate, just in warmth and comfort in their van.
We have another question, Kathleen? Yeah, and hold it down while you're talking.
Okay, I had just wondered, the sign at Evergreen and Southern is so long. Is that a possibility to shorten that for that stretch of time?
Now, I think Matt has talked to this city. Geez, I'm glad you're here, Matt.
Hi again. So yeah, we put in, through my avenues, I put in, oh, thank you. From my avenues, I put in our request through the Tempe 311 system. So through that system, they denied us. We got a very polite no, but we have the mayor here on Friday, or on the 5th, so we're gonna talk to them.
Let him sit out there at the slow light.
Are there any other questions from, we have one more, at least up here.
Yep. I want to say thank you for the beautiful job with the grass. I'm fairly new here to Arizona, and I walk every day and I've been watching. I just think the grass is gorgeous, so thank you for that hard work.
Are there any other questions? Thank you, Kath.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
Ed has a question?
Probably we'll have to get Matt to answer this.
All right.
When we're using Evergreen Gate and visitors come, will they know as they start to come in the main gate that they can't come in? And will they be told where to go? Would be a sign or whatever?
Matt, will you be telling visitors where to go?
Me personally, yes. There will be signs posted at the main entrance directing people to the Evergreen Gate first. So the construction company will be putting those up. Nice, really big signs pointing, saying, please use Evergreen Gate. And then yes, if they pull in, there will be someone posted there to direct them.
Are there any other questions? Thank you, Kathy. Up next is Paul McEwen with the Dining Committee.
Good morning. Hear me? Okay. I was not able to attend the Thanksgiving dinner here, but I heard it's been very good. And in our dining committee meeting, which we held on the, I guess it was 21st, they said that they would have free-range organic type turkey at that. So I don't know if anybody could tell the difference, but that was the case. So, in the fireside, starting Monday, the 3rd, there's going to be a new menu for appetizers and desserts. And 2 weeks after that, on the 17th, they're going to start the week 1 of a 5-week series of new menus. So the thing we talked about on the menu change for the fireside is finally going to occur in December. In the cafe, we're going to start having more vegetarian options, including the concept, on the concept menu. They'll attempt to have a vegetarian option every time. And that will be in starting next year, not in December, but in 2020. I announced a while back about this non-meat type hamburger. It's called the Impossible Burger that we were going to have. Well, it turns out that we can't buy the actual burgers pre-made because there's too much of a demand by other vendors or other commercial outfits. So they're going to be able to buy it in bulk, but they have to get a hamburger patty press, and they haven't gotten that delivered yet. So as soon as that comes in, they'll start having that Impossible Burger. don't know if you noticed, but earlier this week, they handed out free turkeys to all the staff. 550 turkeys. That was kind of a nice deal. Yeah. Brian Banks is our chief staff person for the dining services, and he's going to be out for a month because of surgery on his foot. I don't know if you noticed him riding around on this little knee-type scooter, and hopefully this surgery will take care of his problem. That's what we're all hoping. And let's see. The staffing is generally pretty good in the cafe and in the fireside. There's always a turnover, and there's always a little bit of slack in certain, like dishwashers and stuff like that. But they tend to keep them going, so it's looking pretty good. So that's the end of my report.
Okay. Are there any questions from the council of Paul? Okay, Doris? She has to get the mic over there.
You know, we had a fantastic dinner yesterday. I think it's the best Thanksgiving dinner we've ever had here at the village. And I really appreciate it. But the line in waiting for getting in is really ridiculous. I don't know why we couldn't develop a system of handing out numbers for people who are waiting to get into the buffet, and a separate listing for people who are going into the private dining room for the reserved tables. Because when those doors open, it's just like a melee of people flocking to the door, and it's really dangerous, actually. And there are walkers, and there are chairs, and there are people standing. And I stood up yesterday for 45 minutes, and that's really too long for me to stand up, to wait in line. And I just think that we really need to do something about that.
Okay, and we're talking mainly about these special dinners.
Do you have a meeting before Christmas?
Yes.
That might be a good time to bring that up. Maybe they can figure something out, because that's likely to be the same problem there.
Yeah, that's right.
that'd be good.
Okay. Thank you, Doris.
Oh, she has more.
You know, I think that maybe this should even be brought to Cole's attention. And, hi, Cole. that maybe the executive committee should help to figure this out, how to work with the seating for these big dinners. There's got to be a better way.
I just walked in, so I didn't hear what you were talking about. Was it Thanksgiving was too busy?
The long lines, they were talking about the long wait to check in and get into the dining room.
Into the buffet? Well, I mean, I have to assume every single table was sat, so it's a matter of how quickly you can turn them to get the next people seated, right?
It was also probably just checking them through with your card, right? Yeah, that's, sometimes takes quite a while.
Okay, so getting checked in at the hostess stand.
But we could have numbers, I mean, there are ways to improve that.
Okay,
But to have this wild bedlam
okay.
going into the buffet is really terrible, especially maybe if we were 20 years old, it'd be fine. But
Okay.
at our age, it's really tough.
That's fair. Okay, I will get an email generated back to the team and make them aware and figure out what we need to do.
Gee, aren't you glad you stopped back? Are there any other questions of Paul? Jay has a question.
I think Doris is referring to the initial surge. Is that correct, Doris? At 11 o'clock when you first get there? I mean, people were arriving at 10:15, I'm told. And they didn't have a number, but like, for instance, I came later with a large group. I had to wait over an hour, but I had a pager. So I think you're just talking about the initial lineup to get to the desk.
I think-
And that's where you want to have a number passed out.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, I think that's what you mean, is just
Yeah,
in the
well, if
very
we had-
beginning.
If we were given a number, I mean, it could be as simple as that. You come up the line and you are handed a number, and then you go in by number, but then you wouldn't have to stand up in that long line.
So are you suggesting then that maybe starting at 10 or 10:15, that somebody be there to hand out numbers as people come up? Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
That's the suggestion I think she has. We have another question, Ron?
Yeah, on a personal note, I got into that line and it was almost to the skirm at 11 o'clock. And by the time I got to the desk, I was fortunate enough to have the fourth pager. And so we had to wait another half an hour, 45 minutes. So it was an hour and a half total wait time before we could sit down.
But it was worth it.
And
Oh, yeah, well, the hors d'oeuvres saved the day, the wonderful cheeses and everything.
are there any other questions of Paul? Thank you, Paul.
I try to have a short report.
You did, thank you. Jay Adler is our next presenter. He is chairman of the election committee.
Sandy, if you'd put up the matrix, please. Well, we had a successful election on the 1st of November, and we have 13 new junior representatives elected. And our one senior representative who was never in an election, he won his election as well. Just a little contrast here. If you'll slide that thing just a little up so that we can see the participation. We had 5 areas that had multiple representatives applying for the job. And we were very fortunate that there were no ties, so we did not have to have a runoff election. But I wanted to have a little tip of the hat to Area 9 with Bev and Jim Beaton had 83% participation, and they had 3 candidates running. So, Bev, you and Jim did great. Thank you very much. Okay, that really is the conclusion of my report. Are there any questions from the council?
Are there any questions? From the residents? These candidates will be seated at our council meeting in December. And that's when we will also seat our new officers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next report is from Tom Poole on our very successful Employee Appreciation Fund.
Good morning. Good morning. The Employee Appreciation Gift Fund is the one time all year that residents can demonstrate to the employees in a measurable way that we care for them just as they care for us. This year, the goal for the gift fund was $360,000. In 2019, residents of Friendship Village, Tempe gave $401,658 to the fund. Give yourself a hand. Because of that generosity, this is the largest and most successful gift fund in the history of Friendship Village. 2 factors created such outstanding results: an impressive increase in resident occupancy rate, which created more donors, and the continuing and increasingly generous support of longtime residents. On behalf of the employees, the Gift Fund Committee would like to thank our fellow residents for your thoughtful and generous support of our stellar staff. Congratulations for your success. For employees to qualify for the gift fund check, they must be on the payroll for the pay period ending on Saturday, November 23rd, 2019. a record number of employee checks, 556 checks, more checks than turkeys, are being prepared this year. The largest employee check this year for all employees who work 40 hours a week for 52 weeks is $994. This is also a record for the largest employee check.
$200 more than last year.
The gift fund committee has designated $75 as the minimum employee gift fund check this year for those who did not have enough hours by November 23rd to qualify. And 52 minimum gift checks will be given. On Friday, December the 6th, we have the check presentation celebration here in the Skirm at 2 p.m. The event is a chance for residents and employees to celebrate a successful 2019 together. The room will be set up as it is for the village meeting. We ask the residents to sit in the middle. The employees will line up around the sides. If you cannot come to the Skirm, the celebration will be broadcast live over Channel 1960. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the members of the Employee Gift Fund Committee who have been hard at work. Resident members of the committees have developed a plan and a timeline and executed the plan, including writing all letters, materials, villager articles and presentations, stuffed all envelopes, emptied the gift box, made weekly bank deposits, produced posters and displays, distributed letters and mailbox stuffers, weekly updated the results on the lobby display, cut employee checks, and signed, we'll start signing checks today. Our treasurer will start signing the checks. Signed all 556 employee checks. The Employee Gift Committee will meet twice next week as we are getting ready for the December 6th check presentation. For all of this, I say thank you to the members of the committee for their community service. Again, congratulations to all the residents for the most successful gift fund ever.
Thank you. Tom, are there any questions of Tom from the council? From the residents out there? Thank you, Tom. Our next report is from the Safety Committee, and I'm going to give that report because they haven't had any leadership for a while. Jerry Hall is their chairman, but she is not in good health, but would like to continue to be the chairman as soon as she's able. And so I agreed to give the report today. Our major discussion at the Safety Committee regarded the golf carts. That was they needed to talk about having an entry sticker for a golf cart like we have for our cars, because some of them go over to the healthcare center and they come back. They can't get back in on Evergreen. So that was brought up. And they also talked about on-site maintenance for water and charging and other things like that. And at present, there is a service for golf carts on Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 8 a.m., from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And for the service, you need to call, and the number is 8114, and they will also wash the carts. So be sure if you have a golf cart that needs maintenance or washing, you can call 8114, and I assume it's done kind of by an appointment. They also emphasized that the committee did that they need to remind people to please use the crosswalks. I have a hunch we have a lot of jaywalkers in Friendship Village. And Cole talked about the new grills and how to use those in our new barbecue area, so I don't need to go into that. Are there any questions that I might be able to answer, or Dick Schaefer, he's on the committee too. Are there any questions? Are there any questions out there?
I have,
You have one?
Yeah,
Oh, I can't see you from the side, I guess. Thank you.
here I am.
Hold it down all the
There we go. The crosswalks, I assume you're talking about where there are sidewalks, because the part of the village that's no sidewalks, people are walking in the street anyway.
You're right. That didn't come up, so I don't know whether that needs to, but I'm sure if it does need to, the safety committee will hear about it. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Bob, you're on the side, I didn't see you either.
I'm assuming that the carts are also limited to the 10-mile-per-hour speed limit, because as I have been walking, I've been breezed by carts that I'm sure are going more than 10 miles per hour.
I believe that the speed limit in Friendship Village for cars, carts, and walking is 10 miles an hour. Whether or not that always happens, I don't know how they enforce that, but maybe that needs to be emphasized again. Are there any other questions? Okay, then we are ready for our welcome coffee report. Ron Newth, I forgot to mention your name. Everybody knows you, though.
Madam Chairman and President and council members, this will be short and sweet. We have been active hosting new residents, providing publicity for the welcome coffee, examining the new resident packets for quality and content, updating as necessary, and preparing the decorations and program for the welcome coffee. The October 2019 welcome coffee introduced 3 new residents to the community. They were Joe Brown, Marianne Corder, and Anita Layfield. Our program was presented by a social service director, Sue Lullo, who spoke on the topic, "What's holding up your teepee?" And I think she had a very informative talk. Our next welcome coffee will not be in December. It will be held on January 16th. Our new welcome committee chair will be Pam Holden. Joni and I, after 5 years, will be stepping down, and it's kind of a nice time to make a little change somewhere. So that's it.
Are there any questions of Ron on his, well, he'll have to give a yearly report at the association meeting, so we'll hear from you again.
Well,
Are there any questions?
I just wanted to congratulate Ron and Joni on how well they've done the welcome committee. It's been great.
Thank you, Paul. Are there any other comments or questions? Thank you. Is there any, so we are finished with our committee reports. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? I have a few announcements. The annual association meeting will be held on December 27th. That's 2 days after Christmas, on the last Friday of December. The association meeting will be followed by the council meeting. You all are still on the council until that meeting. And then we will seat the new council members, and the senior members will turn over their books to the new junior members. So be sure that you're here. I want you to clear out your books of everything except the Constitution, the bylaws, and the procedures. So you don't need to leave. You may want to leave one set of minutes from this meeting. You wouldn't have the December minutes yet, but you might want to leave those just so they get an idea of what we do. When we have an association meeting, which we have once a year, this is when we pass changes to the Constitution and bylaws, and we will be doing that. Marty, did you want to talk about that today? Now, I don't think we need to. We've already passed or suggested what the association passed for the changes to Robert's rules. And we will do that at the association meeting. For an association meeting to have a quorum, we need to have 80 people present. Today, we have about, I guessed about 50. So you need to bring your friends when you come to the association meeting. We will have coffee and cookies, and that might help get a few people out, because that's always fun on a Friday morning. So do bring your friends, because if we don't have 80, we can't do any business. So we have to go round them up, okay? At that time, the committee chairs at the association meeting will give a yearly report, a brief yearly report, please. And they will not need to be repeated at the council meeting that follows that meeting. Once is enough. At that time, I will also give a report. And I think that covers most of it. Do you have any questions about what's going to happen that day? Oh, good. Okay, then I think we're coming to an end. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Are you suggesting that the committee chairs will be reading that report or just handing them in?
Oh, no, I think we will present them orally, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But Sandy would like them printed ahead of time too, like we've been doing for the other ones. That way she can have them on the screen, and those who can't hear can see what they're saying. Are there any other suggestions, questions? Okay. After God created 24 hours of alternating light and darkness, one of the angels asked, "What are you going to do now?" And God answered, "I'm going to call it a day." And so am I. Have a great week. See you in December.